If y'all seen too, them folks still went to the Super Bowl. They still partying. You Goyim, y'all really still went to the Super Bowl. Epstein list just dropped. But he finna break down some
Jeffrey
distraction.
Epstein, the name that's got everybody's social feeds in a chokehold. It feels like every couple of days, especially since the latest files have dropped, people are finding out that Epstein was tied to basically every billionaire, Hollywood exec, or politician out there, in addition to being involved or behind some of the biggest conspiracies of the past 2 decades. The media has branded him as this grandiose villain of our modern times, and on account of what he's done and is known for having done,
Snyder,
true. I've made my own video on his story, connections, charges, and then some, if that's what you're looking for, but this video is less of a deep dive and more of a brainstorming.
We already know about what he tied to, especially for people, bro. I made a song 2-3 years ago talking about they hide the truth, they try to bury them father, had them kids on Epstein Island, and then I made a song 4 or 5 years ago saying Hollywood. And Hollywood, that's where them kids at. They put a Disney label, you not thinking of that. Go search up one scandal, Hollywood. You feel me? So people been, and I'm saying like, as soon as I figured out about it, I'm like, yo, that's what I'm trying to tell you. My partner was telling me, he was like, bro, I've been made a video on this shit, Gisley and Mac. He's like, as soon as we figured out about this, she was like, yo. So when people want to scream at the airport and say, oh, well, y'all not doing nothing, the Goyim are never going to do nothing. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to complain about ICE, and they're going to go to the next thing in 2 weeks. Then they're going to go to the next thing in 2 weeks, like the bots they are.
If you will. I was on a walk after work the other day, pulled out my phone to scroll the feed, only to see that Epstein is now being exposed as the creator of Bitcoin via the latest emails that were released. Earlier that day, I read that Epstein was emailing Bill Gates about a pandemic simulation in 2017, and we all know what happened around 6 years ago.
Bitcoin will drop to zero, by the way. Bitcoin will drop to zero. It's over with. So when Maverick Approach was like beta test coin, he had something with that beta test coin. There's a test coin. That shit is tied to Epstein. Nigga. But people that been on the dark web scamming crypto and all that, scamming and stuff, people been knowing what Bitcoin was. So that's why I said, if you ain't making no money off Bitcoin from 2020 to 2024, it's over with. Throw that shit in the garbage.
Go. And goddamn, has it really been 6 years? Like, I mean, this shit's pretty damn crazy. I know I'm not the only one that feels like time has just sped up.
For sure.
But what I'm beginning to think more and more is that he's really just the scapegoat of the elites, aka the fall guy. Look, like whether the guy's whole story itself is a fraud, or he's alive and thriving, walking the streets of Tel Aviv, or really dead, is neither here nor there. Because at this point, the story itself is larger than life. And when you couple that with how we're in an era of information overload with millions of voices, comments, tweets, and videos of people all giving their own opinions or theories on whatever is the trending topic at this time, it just sends the average person into shutdown mode. Kind of like, man, there's just too much going on and I just don't even know what to think or believe. And that right there is exactly where those who actually control the world want us to be. Overwhelmed, confused, and I'd probably add in hopeless. People are.
If you're feeling hopeless, overwhelmed, and confused, just know that all of these things have to be revealed. But they've been telling you what they've been doing because it's universal law. They have to tell you what they own. Monsters Inc. All these movies and everything that's happening now. There's a movie or a TV show about it. No matter how bad or dark it is, there's a movie or TV show about it. You know, I'm watching Star Wars right now, and the Republic is being took over by the Sith and all that. And it's people that's with the Republic that's acting like, oh yeah, we just need to vote this and do this, and it'll be all good. All the time they working with the Sith. So the queen of the Republic, she like on some shit like, my people are down, but die with my people, and this and that. But they like, yeah, you doing exactly what we want you to do. And even how I'm looking at Anakin, I'm like, yo, why the did Q, I forgot his name, not the man that taught Obi-Wan, Q, I think that Q gone. Why the fuck did he have so much? I understand that Anakin had a lot of power, but you done made Darth Vader. And Obi-Wan sensed, he's like, there's something wrong with this boy. Like, I know it is. And as I'm watching it now as a grown man, I'm like, damn.
drained just from trying to survive and maintain, and by the time we're home from work, we settle for doom scrolling brain rot in bed the night before our next shift.
Oh shit, here we go again.
In between every few scrolls, a video pops up, something you find interesting and could maybe even learn a thing or two from, only to scroll to some nonsense or AI slop right after and forget whatever you thought you learned from the previous video. This is literally the most perfect time for these sick fuck elites that most of us already knew were up to satanic ass activities to reveal all their dirty laundry. We're in an era of short attention spans, information in abundance, riddled with lies and nonsense. People feel like
just, oh, that's a conspiracy. Oh, that's nothing. Oh, well, people been crazies. Like, people seeing all these videos, and every time you open the comments, and we're still doing nothing, and they're posting memes and shit. Like, get the fuck off the internet.
They don't know what to believe, and at times can't even trust what they see. It's like they gave us this villain that everyone could latch onto, and this villain, aka Epstein, is meant to be the mastermind behind major worldly situations that influence the course of our world for the worse. And now all these conspiracies that have circulated for years are associated in people's minds with one man rather than the actual groups behind them. When I say groups, I mean the Vatican, the Freemasons, the Zionists, mega corporations, and the bankers. Because let's be real, yes, Epstein was charged with running a child trafficking operation. He was pictured with countless elite and celebrities colluding with them for nefarious purposes. He's not the end-all be-all.
Nigga was with the owner of BlackRock the day they were signing off on the company. He's with the guy from BlackRock, bro. Look. Asira Dukes was just breaking this shit down. Bro, y'all gotta watch my community post. Asira Dukes, bro, I would never claim to know everything, bro, I'm still learning. I'm always a student. My goal is to become a master student. I'm getting back on my trials. But sometimes when I gotta get glitchy, I'm not taking a lot of knowledge and information, so I put a lot of this information on the back burner when it comes to consciousness, because I already went down these rabbit holes and it didn't lead nowhere. Now that the Great Awakening is happening in front of our face, and we see Babylon happening, I'm setting up my foundations as my assets, you know. But after I set up all my foundation assets, it's complete research time. I'm gonna turn this page up. I'm gonna get deeper with my research. I'm gonna get deeper with my intellect. I'm gonna get deeper with my knowledge. Cause dudes like Asira Duke of Tears, he make me wanna, like, I'm like, yo, I gotta know this. Phase 1 said he was gonna finally send me them books. I'm like, bro, I can't wait to dive into shit because it's so much, and once you're able to connect these codes, I mean, I'm gonna figure it out anyway. You feel me? But I'm putting my glitch first right now. You feel me? But that's where most of Americans and people are at. They worry about their money, their finances, their life, what they worry about. So it's like me though, I know how to pay attention to my glitch and pay attention to what's going on and not let it drain my energy. How? Because I'm an alchemist.
Of the many recent worldly pitfalls. But as time goes on, I could only imagine when conspiracies about COVID or Bitcoin come up in 15, 20 years from now, they'll be saying, oh yeah, wasn't it that evil guy Jeffrey Epstein behind it? No. Forever keeping the real puppet masters behind the scenes as intended.
Why social media feels different.
You know, with the mass introduction of AI and how fast it's developed and been incorporated into our daily lives, you can only imagine how much joy it brings these elites and dystopian tech overlords. It's a tool that's shown great promise for the elites' goals of mass surveillance and censorship. For the tool to improve, though, it's gotta gain more data, do more testing, and essentially continuously train the models to refine its capabilities. With AI algorithms and moderators, these mega social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or X can all easily censor content as fast as they want with AI. But it seems like they're letting a whole lot slide these days. Case in point, 10 years ago, if you said anything about the people with the blue and white flag and the star of Remphan on it, you immediately would be labeled an anti-Semite, video taken down, the whole 9 yards. But now we're seeing big names in the commentary space receiving millions of views mentioning stuff that was...
This shit is still eerie though. I mean, this shit's not eerie, but this shit is still tricky because they still taking my videos down for misinformation, bro. Like, as soon as I thought, like, it's good, like, it's like you can only talk about the list still. Like, you could talk about the list, but you can't, like, start connecting other shit. They, like, once you, like, shift off the list, like, I made a video talking about the meat, They was pumping the water with the meat. I'm like, what are they doing with this meat? Why are they pumping it with water? Why they pumping the chicken and meat with water? Oh, misinformation. I'm like, bro, I just asked a question, bro. You can't even present commentary as misinformation. But these are private companies, YouTube, TikTok, X, Twitter, so they can gain all your information, and it's for the public. And they selling your info at the same time.
Once considered fringe conspiracies
That's
on the
why you have to
internet,
buy the program?
discussed
Nah,
in
I'm
forums
just
or
playing.
niche videos brought to a large
That's how them
audience.
ads be.
There are really two things that come to mind with this. First, gathering data on the digital outlaws. Think about it like this: with everyone and their grandma on social media having algorithms feed us what we engage with the most, practically dictating what we see every scroll, what we'll like, share, or comment on, it's easier than ever to profile people and end up knowing them better than they know themselves. They've been doing this for years, but the goal is that AI speeds up the process because whoever has the most data has control. So by opening the floodgates, letting people post videos on topics that were once untouchable without getting banned, and just letting viewers comment whatever without removing them,
bro.
it's to see who are more likely to comply versus those that they might consider digital outlaws, aka the ones that are viewing, posting, and engaging with the fringe topics, so they can separate the two into categories for their AI models. In addition to that, they're also training their models on what people say in these communities to better equip their AI moderation systems and help with future censorship.
Wow.
Hell, if you want to go a bit deeper,
That's deep.
all these protests going on in the past couple of years are probably just working in their favor. Regardless
for
of what's
sure.
being protested, there
They're
are
studying.
CCTV cameras on just about every corner of all major cities these days, and they're able to gather protesters' faces, store them, and feed them to the AI models to be trained on to recognize patterns. Spotting who's regularly attending certain protests, tracking their social media feeds, basically building their citizen profile.
Right.
It's all to feed the beast, help create the social credit
Social
system,
credit
and
score, I was
use
gonna bring that
people's
up.
free thoughts and opinions
That's the first
against
thing I was
them.
thinking of. They getting ready for the social credit score. Cardi B just had a transhumanism concert showing her brain opening, and it was like workings in her brain. It's basically like a rope. She was a robot, so it's gonna get weirder. Holly weird. Babylon getting weirder every day.
Now, is that really much of a stretch? It's up to you. The second thing is that by letting this stuff free, having people hear about the sick things celebrities, politicians, or CEOs were up to with Epstein, the elite can monitor the public's reaction and influence them further by playing both sides and installing or utilizing their already influential controlled ops to further push agendas, mixing some truth with lies to confuse viewers. But before I get to that, I just want to quickly talk about the memification of Jeffrey Epstein, because if you go through like Instagram comments and you look at those GIF replies, you'll see a lot of people have made these, interesting AI dupes of Jeffrey Epstein dancing or making funny faces, and ultimately you can tell that people are becoming so desensitized to, the realities of what that man was up to the point where it just gets joked about beyond belief. And that is ultimately, part of this process of opening the floodgates and letting people just feel overwhelmed and overconsumed with this topic and all the, mix of truth and lies that come with it. Okay, but back to these controlled ops, if you will. Like, I think about Tucker Carlson, a man who was once known as a divisive, obnoxious Fox TV host, is now viewed as a genuine, sympathetic, curious-minded podcast host. He's made videos discussing the 9/11 conspiracies and Kabbalah, and he still carries a large audience from his days on the big network, so he's discussing more, I guess you could say, taboo or fringe topics with an audience that isn't exactly used to it. And while he might shine light on these things, I have no doubt that he knows more than he lets on. Despite having his own show, he's still controlled. Firstly, his father, Richard Carlson, was also a highly esteemed journalist with the Voice of America during the Reagan era.
This is a very rewarding time to be associated with the Voice of America. It seems to me that we're witnessing, as we never have before, the power of information, the power of ideas.
And was nominated to be an associate director of the United States Information Agency in '86. Voice of America was created in February 1942 by the US government to counter Nazi propaganda during World War II. Many suggest it's tied in with the CIA and used to their advantage, which gave rise to rumors that Tucker's father might have been associated with the feds.
And he's attacking my dad as a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, you know, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So
that's the same thing kind of with the Andrew Tate thing. His dad knew he was CIA, but it's like, yo, once you CIA, you always CIA. But how do y'all feel about this Jeffrey Epstein? So I gotta re-upload this tape, so that shit just threw me off, bro. So I'll come back with another video later. All right, it's a little later in the day, but we back to finish this video. The Great Distraction, Epstein. Right, Richard Carlson,
associated with the feds.
And he's attacking my dad.
This is his father, right?
As a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no.
My right ear
untrue.
is loving this. My left
my
ear.
father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, you know, was
the audio
involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
I don't believe you.
With his father's prominent media and government ties, the apple didn't fall far from the tree, with Tucker spending more than a decade on mainstream news, aka big propaganda. As of recent, he was pictured in a room with a dozen oil executives at the White House earlier this year before his lunch with Trump. Remember, the world is a stage and one man in his time plays many parts. And now Tucker, after spending many years being the bad guy, gets...
The world is a stage and one man in his time plays many parts.
To play the good guy with everybody right now. Here to be a controlled voice of reason for the people to latch onto, one with real credibility due to his television background. He'll push on the issues just enough to seem like he's fighting the good fight, yet never truly spill the beans. The same goes for the likes of Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, or Candace Owens. These people have been known to teeter the lines. One minute they have the people on their side speaking out about something like the pandemic or this Epstein thing. Then the next, people are accusing them for being a sellout.
Wait a second.
Yeah, because these people are sitting here and Candace Owens say all this shit, and then you go link with Erica Kirk. Well, if all this shit you saying is true, why would you want to even be next to her? Alex Jones, Joe Rogan. There's no way. And I rock with Alex Jones, and I rock with Joe Rogan and them. Cause I get it, bro. I get it. I get it. And they will come do some shit to you. Feel me? Especially in the eras they came up in. They came up before social media, before conspiracy theories was like a hashtag. It was when conspiracy theories was a label team termed by the government. Still is, but they really come get up with you. They was pulling up on William B. Cooper. He was getting in shootouts with federal agents. William B. Cooper was getting into plenty shootouts, bro. Y'all read his book, he was bumping it out, nigga. They was pulling up on him, shooting it out. Cause he didn't like that how they were trying to treat him. You feel me? I respect William B. Cooper, bro.
Something's not right here. You're a phony.
Joe Rogan's being exposed left and right now that he's friends with all these big tech CEOs. His massive audience has been noticing the shift in his content and how he either plays dumb or tries to save face for his new extremely wealthy friends.
Specific illicit desire to want underage people.
Well,
how do you even find out that someone's into that?
Well, I don't think that the majority or anything close to it of the women were technically. I think it was largely
young,
very young, barely legal, so to speak. But and I know that there were cases of underage, but I think
most of it was just
very, very young, but not like
20-year-old,
not like 13
18-year-old
type thing.
What did he say?
When people think about Alex Jones, while he's one of the earlier voices,
that nigga just sat on that bitch and lied. I don't think they were really. The cat got your tongue. Nigga, they said it was babies. All right. I don't want to get the video yellow. But all that cat got your tongue shit. Like, what are we talking about, bro? What are we actually fucking talking about? And shout out to Alex Jones, but it's possible he's a CIA operative too. No different than the GG3. GG3, he gotta be CIA. You feel me? These niggas who've been around exposing this shit for years is CIA agents.
Is in the conspiracy realm.
Okay, I ain't gonna just throw it on CIA agents because shout out to everybody who's been trying to spread truth and shit. But like, when you see the way they move, a lot of them move like CIA. Especially Gary, he always got them glasses on and shit.
Suspected of either being some sort of CIA plant or someone who got too big that he was eventually bought off and been controlled ever since. Yeah. Then there's Candace Owens, a strong voice in the realm of conspiracy these days.
Obviously, I'm a conspiracy girly.
Gaining a massive audience, quite different from the one she started with.
Right.
She was mainly known for her extremely pro-right takes coming from PragerU and her close relationship with the deceased Charlie Kirk. Known to cause quite the drama on social media, whether she was provoking it or people were just easily provoked, her name spread. She worked with the slimy Daily Wire run by Ben Shapiro, and her name and audience would continue to grow. Eventually, her role at the Daily Wire ended in quite the spectacle, but she continued to go her own way with her show. On the show, she dives into a ton of conspiracy theories, and with her charismatic and firm tone, she comes off very convincing, and like true controlled opposition, she'll sprinkle truth and nonsense throughout her shows.
It is an absolute fact that Charlie Kirk thought that he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler repeatedly. I showed you guys that text message exchange. I said to him in response that I didn't feel the same way and that I thought I was from another planet, that I was an alien my entire life.
But it's always their actions that usually tell you what you really need to know.
Right.
For example, Candace has been digging into the Epstein case on her show, discussing the vile things he was involved with, while at the same time going to bat for disgraced film director Harvey Weinstein, known for taking advantage of women in Hollywood and was later charged with and convicted.
Oh, so she defending Harvey Weinstein? Like, that's what I'm talking about. You could talk about Epstein, you can't talk about Clive Davis. You could talk about Epstein, you can't talk about whoever. You know what I'm saying? These record label execs, these ADL, Tommy Mottolos and them. You can't talk about other shit. Lior. I'm pretty sure Lior is somewhere on there. Oh, my bad. I know you run YouTube, bro. My bad. Don't he run YouTube Music? Yeah, ain't Lior somewhere on them files? Nigga, there's no way he runs YouTube, bro. I already run YouTube Music. And what does that mean? Yo, bro. I'm just expressing myself on these platforms. Y'all say we could talk about these things. It's not freedom of speech. Remember, these are private companies that own these apps. There's no freedom of speech on social media.
On multiple sexual assault charges. Look, I understand they're different situations, but what's worse is that Epstein and Harvey Weinstein have been good friends for a while. Not only did the two try to purchase New York Magazine together back in 2003, but years later they partied together, as you could see here with Ghislaine. When it comes to Weinstein, rumors around his name and what he was up to were floating around for years before his conviction.
Hi, homosexual. Do you have any advice for a young girl moving to Hollywood? I'll get live with it.
Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party in the Four Seasons downtown.
Yet Candace was bent on helping the man restore his image. Look, I'm just saying, if someone rose to prominence in the political...
I ain't never seen that clip. I'm about to go get that. You know I'm gonna go repurpose that. What? She straight up said what the fuck it is, didn't she? She straight up said what it is.
Landscape as a commentator, working for two pro-Zionist organizations, contributing to the left versus right paradigm, only to shift into conspiracy theories and gain millions of views exposing PDF files like Epstein, all while defending and platforming a convicted rapist it's kind of hard not to see them as controlled ops. Now, how could I forget this character, Nick Fuentes?
Oh, yeah.
He emerged in the political commentary space around 2016.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we got over the Epstein stuff. What do y'all? Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. Do y'all think Epstein is a big distraction, bro? Let me know.
2017, known for his strong America